Today, the topic of our discussion is on the biliary cirrhosis. Here we shall be talking about both the primary biliary cirrhosis and the secondary biliary cirrhosis. So before going into details of primary and secondary, let us first see what you understand by biliary cirrhosis. So from the name itself, you can understand biliary cirrhosis. Here there is occurring the cirrhosis of liver secondary to some derangement in the biliary system. So what is occurring in this biliary cirrhosis is that there is prolonged obstruction of this biliary system. Okay, there is occurring obstruction of the biliary system, which is ultimately causing cirrhosis of liver. Clear? So first, let us see what you understand by primary biliary cirrhosis. For that, let us just have a look at the biliary tree. Yes, you can see this is your liver. Okay, this is your gallbladder, cystic duct, and this is your entire biliary tree. Okay, this is your entire biliary tree. So in primary biliary cirrhosis, remember, primary biliary cirrhosis, this is basically an autoimmune disease. Okay, so in primary biliary cirrhosis, there is occurring the inflammation of these small interlobular bile ducts. These interlobular bile ducts, there is occurring chronic inflammation. It's not acute inflammation. There is occurring chronic granulomatous inflammation of these bile ducts, okay, so of these interlobular bile ducts, which is ultimately going to cause fibrosis, and it is going to cause obstruction of this biliary system. Clear? So you might think, if there is obstruction of the biliary system, then why there is cirrhosis? Because see, what is present in the bile? You have bile salts, and these bile salts are toxic to the hepatocytes. Okay, so they cause destruction of the hepatocytes, which in the long run ultimately is going to cause cirrhosis of liver. Clear? So let us see what is like occurring in this system, in this primary biliary cirrhosis. Okay. So as just now I told you the etiology, yeah, I told you the cause. Next, let us come to the like the etiology. Okay, so etiology that also I told you. Okay, so yeah, and where is the like this primary biliary cirrhosis? This occurs, remember, predominantly in the females. Okay, so it occurs predominantly in the females, mainly in the middle age group. Okay, the fifth or sixth decade females are mainly affected. Clear? So yes, next let us see what are the clinical features like a patient presenting. You all understood the pathology, I hope so, that there is obstruction, there is inflammation, there is fibrosis. Therefore, there is obstruction to this biliary system. This bile is not able to flow to the intestines. Okay, and there is retention of bile here, and retention of bile salts ultimately causes destruction to the hepatocytes, damage to the hepatocytes. Clear? Yeah, next come to the clinical features. So let us just think what will be the clinical features of this primary biliary cirrhosis. What is occurring here? What does this bile contain? It mainly contains the conjugated bilirubin. Okay. Now this bile is not able to flow into the intestine. So what will happen to this conjugated bilirubin? Now there will be excess amount of, instead of coming to the intestine, since there is obstruction to this bile flow, now there'll be excess amount of conjugated bilirubin in the blood. Okay, so what is that going to happen? That there is going to be conjugated bilirubinemia. Okay, so conjugated hyperbilirubinemia, right? So this excess amount of bilirubin, conjugated bilirubin in the blood, and these excess amount of bile salts. Okay, so excess amount of bile salts that causes itching and pruritus. So there are three cardinal features of primary biliary cirrhosis. Let's tell you what are the three cardinal features. Three cardinal features of primary biliary cirrhosis. First one is pruritus, which I just told you why. Because of the retention of too much of bile salts, which causes itching, and this conjugated hyperbilirubin in the serum, so in the blood, okay, which is going to cause itching. Okay, so pruritus. Then there is going to be jaundice, which is mainly because of this conjugated conjugated bilirubin, and there is your hyperpigmentation. These are your three basic, the cardinal features. Okay, hyperpigmentation. Okay. Next, what else? If the liver has also starts getting involved, then you'll get all features of liver involvement. Like, yes, there'll be again pruritus, there'll be jaundice, plus you'll start getting hepatocellular failure. all symptoms and signs of hepatocellular failure, which gradually progresses. Then what are the other things? When this hepatocellular progresses, there is going to be portal hypertension, ascites. These are the features of liver involvement. Okay, hypercholesterolemia. Often these patients, they develop xanthelasma and xanthomas. What is xanthelasma and xanthomas? Where do you see the xanthelasmas? Yes, xanthelasma, that is mainly seen around the eyes, and xanthomas, that is mainly seen around the tendons. Okay, elbows, knees. Then malabsorption. What is the reason of malabsorption? Why there is occurring malabsorption? Remember this bile in the intestine that is mainly responsible for the absorption of fats, isn't it? So here there will be malabsorption of fat because now the bile is not flowing to the intestine. Okay, so there will be malabsorption of fat, which is going to cause steatorrhea and diarrhea due to malabsorption of fat. If fat is not being absorbed, then obviously the fat soluble vitamins also won't be absorbed. Which are the fat soluble vitamins? A, D, E, K. Yes, there will be malabsorption of these fat soluble vitamins. So what will occur if there is malabsorption of vitamin K, A? The patient will get features of symptoms and features of night blindness. If there's malabsorption of vitamin D, then the patient will develop osteomalacia, osteodystrophy. That is hepatic osteodystrophy. We get features of osteomalacia and osteoporosis. This is what is called as hepatic osteodystrophy. Vitamin E malabsorption, dermatitis. Vitamin K malabsorption, there'll be easy bleeding, bruising, ecchymosis. Okay, so these are the features we are going to get here. Clear? So these are the clinical features which you get in a patient of primary biliary cirrhosis. Next, let us come to the investigations. Yes, coming to the investigations, as we have already discussed, that there will be an increase in the amount of conjugated bilirubin. Okay, so conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Okay, there will be a slight elevation in the level of the transaminases. And since here there is occurring obstruction, of the bile flow, there is occurring cholestasis. Okay, due to this obstruction, there will be an increase in the levels of alkaline phosphatase. How much increase? 2 to 5-fold increase in the levels of alkaline phosphatase. And since I had told you in the very beginning that this is the autoimmune disease, remember here the role of this detection of anti-mitochondrial antibody is very much important. Anti-mitochondrial antibody, this is detected in almost 85% of the cases of primary biliary cirrhosis. Okay, so this is important. Then there is also an increase in the level of immunoglobulin, mainly the IgM type. And then we go for other investigations like MRCP. What is MRCP? Magnetic resonance cholangiopancreatography. Okay, so this is a special type of MRI. Okay, so where we can see the detailed images of this entire biliary, hepatobiliary, pancreatic systems. Everything can be seen in details. Okay. Okay, what else? Last, to confirm the diagnosis, which is often not required because by these only, mainly by the detection of this anti-mitochondrial antibody, you can confirm. But still for the confirmation, confirm the diagnosis, that is your liver biopsy. Clear? So these are the investigations which are done in the patients of primary biliary cirrhosis. Next, let us come to the management. Yes, next come to the management. So management, the drug, which appears to have some benefit in this situation is your ursodeoxycholic acid. So what this ursodeoxycholic acid is going to do, this is mainly given in a dose of 10 to 15 mg per kg. Its role is that, as I had told you in the beginning only, what is actually causing the cirrhosis of liver? That is mainly it is caused by the retention of the bile salts. They are toxic to the hepatocytes, isn't it? So what it does is that it makes the bile composition less toxic, okay, for the hepatocytes. It reduces the retention of bile acids in the hepatocytes. Okay, so in the liver cells, there is reduced retention of bile acids, and it is going to make the composition of the bile, it's going to make the composition of the bile less toxic. It makes the composition of the bile less toxic for the hepatocytes. Clear? In those cases where they are not benefiting adequately by ursodeoxycholic acid, we often add this obeticholic acid. Okay, so obeticholic acid is often combined with ursodeoxycholic acid if the patient is not getting adequate benefit from ursodeoxycholic acid. Clear? Next, come to steroids. Steroids actually, although it has got some benefit, like it is going to improve the histology, it is going to have an improve the biochemical and histological disease, but still long term often leads to osteoporosis. Okay, so these are the basic treatment. Apart from that, as I told you, there will be malabsorption of vitamin K, and just now we discussed. So since there is vitamin K deficiency, we give the patients monthly injections of vitamin K. We give them vitamin D supplementation. We give the patients calcium to prevent IUM. Okay. Yes, we give the patients calcium supplementations to prevent osteoporosis. We give the patients bisphosphonates. Okay, so bisphosphonates, they reduce the osteoporosis. And last, if nothing is working, we just go for liver transplantation. Clear? And if the patient is having excess of itching, pruritus, then what do we give? We mainly give cholestyramine. Remember, for pruritus, the patient is having itching, pruritus, then mainly we give cholestyramine. Cholestyramine. Okay, so we can, cholestyramine is the main drug of choice in case of pruritus patient has developed. Second choice, we can also give rifampicin. These two drugs are mainly given if the patient develops too much of pruritus. Clear? So this is all about your primary biliary cirrhosis. So I hope so you understood what is primary biliary cirrhosis. It's an autoimmune disease. It is caused by the chronic inflammation of these interlobular bile ducts, which is ultimately going to cause obstruction to the bile flow. Okay, so and then it is causing the retention of bile salts in the liver, which is causing hepatocyte damage. Then I told you about the clinical features, 3 cardinal clinical features: pruritus, jaundice, hyperpigmentation, liver involvement, hypercholesterolemia, malabsorption symptoms. Investigations, most important, anti-mitochondrial antibody detection. Okay, and others also are there, which I have discussed with you all. Treatment, main treatment in this case is ursodeoxycholic acid. Okay, so that is the main drug which is given. Others are given accordingly, like usually in these cases there is deficiency of vitamin A, D, E, K. So accordingly, we give injections of vitamin K, we give bisphosphonates, calcium, vitamin D. Okay, so this is all about your primary biliary cirrhosis. Next, let us come to secondary biliary cirrhosis. What do you understand by secondary biliary cirrhosis? Remember, secondary biliary cirrhosis, here there is occurring the obstruction of the large biliary ducts, not the small interlobular bile ducts, as we saw in the primary biliary cirrhosis. So here there is going to be the obstruction, the prolonged obstruction of the, there is going to occur the prolonged obstruction of the large biliary ducts. Now, why there is going to occur obstruction? Remember, here there is inflammation doesn't play a much role. Here it is mainly due to the stones, due to some causes, like stones, or there is some strictures, bile duct strictures in the bile duct due to some previous operation, abdominal operation, okay, or sclerosing cholangitis. Okay. So these are the main causes for the secondary biliary cirrhosis, right? Okay. Then what are the clinical features? See, clinical features will depend upon what is the cause for the obstruction. Like if it is due to the stones, then the patient will have recurrent abdominal pain, isn't it? If it is occurring, stones are causing the obstruction. Stones often lead to abdominal pain. Strictures, the patient will give you a prior history of some abdominal surgery. Okay. And if the patient has developed biliary cirrhosis due to the secondary, it has occurred, the patient has developed secondary biliary cirrhosis due to sclerosing cholangitis, then the patient will complain of right upper quadrant pain, okay, or that is very commonly seen in this cholangitis, right? So later on, like if gradually it progresses to cirrhosis, then you will start getting all the features of liver involvement, like hepatocellular failure, cirrhosis, ascites, portal hypertension. Remember, these occurs, okay, so when gradually in the late stages, okay, so late features, ultimately, when there is the development of cirrhosis, then you get the features of the late features like the hepatocellular features of hepatocellular failure, portal hypertension. But initially you'll get the features due to which the according to the cause. Okay, stones, you'll get recurrent abdominal pain, strictures, a history of abdominal operation. Okay, so this is all about it. Okay, then what are the investigations which we are going to do here? Right, so what are the investigations which we are going to do here? The same investigations again, but since this is not an autoimmune disease, as you can clearly see, the obstruction is being caused by, there are some causes like stones or strictures or sclerosing cholangitis. I hope so all of you know what is sclerosing cholangitis. What is cholangitis? It is an inflammation. It's an inflammation of the bile ducts. Okay, so usually the sclerosing cholangitis, this is a chronic liver disease. Okay, there is a progressive course of cholestasis, and then there is followed by this inflammation of the intrahepatic as well as the extrahepatic bile ducts. Okay, so this is not an autoimmune disease. Here we are not going to look for the antibodies and the immunoglobulins. Here what we are mainly going to see is that, again, the same thing. Yes, we are going to get a conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Okay, there is going to be an increase in the conjugated bilirubin. Okay, so conjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Okay, what other investigations are you going to see? There's going to be an elevation, since I told you, since there's an obstruction here, it is obstruction to the bile flow. Okay, there is a prolonged obstruction, there is occurring cholestasis. There is going to occur an increase in the amount of alkaline phosphatase. Okay, and what else? What else you are going to do to detect these stones, strictures are there or not? Okay, so for these, what are we going to do? We are going to do the ultrasonography of the abdomen or CT scan of the abdomen, or as I told you, the magnetic resonance cholangiopancreatography. Okay, so these procedures are done, okay, to have visualized the hepatobiliary tree, the hepatobiliary system, whether there are stones, strictures, what is the cause for this obstruction. Okay, and then ultimately, what is the treatment? What is the treatment in this case? Very simple. Here we just have to remove the cause, relief of obstruction to the bile flow. If there is stones, we have to remove the stones by ERCP or by surgery. Okay, so main is that you have to relieve the obstruction. Okay, so relief of obstruction. Okay, and if there is cholangitis, okay, so then we need to give antibiotics, okay, in sclerosing cholangitis. So this is all about your secondary biliary cirrhosis. Okay, so here we have discussed details about the primary biliary cirrhosis and the secondary biliary cirrhosis. So primary biliary cirrhosis, as I told you, autoimmune disease. There is chronic granulomatous inflammation, ultimately causing fibrosis and obstruction. Secondary biliary cirrhosis, this obstruction is caused either due to stones, okay, or due to strictures or due to sclerosing cholangitis. And I told you the investigations and the treatment. This is all about it.